Well, it's the season for the college football carousel, right? We've seen several coaches fired, others take new jobs.
Yeah, about the time you put the tree up, things like this start happening.
That's right.
And some new ones come in with outrageous salaries. I mean, the amount of money is insane. Joining us now from our sister, or shall we say our brother radio station, WJOX, sports talk here in the United States, one of the best stations around, Matt McClearin of the Matt McClearin Show, noon to 2. Good morning, Matt. Glad you're with us this morning.
Yeah, good morning. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you got a lot to talk about. We'll start with LSU. Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame. Arguably a great job, one of the best in the country for LSU. Probably another great job and one of the best in the country. His salary is stunning. What's that move like for the Tigers?
I think it's an interesting one. I think we were all surprised when we saw that it was going to be Brian Kelly going down there to replace Coach O. To me, it makes sense, though. We're talking about a guy who's had success. The problem of it is can you win the big one? And we've seen that Notre Dame, kind of the ceiling for them was evidently the national title game, 2012, when Alabama rolled all over them. They'd been in the playoffs a couple of times, weren't able to punch through past the semifinals. But that level of talent, his ability to recruit, it'll be a little easier for him at LSU just because of the level that he'll be able to recruit at. And now we'll get to see how good of a coach you actually are, because it doesn't get any better than being down here in the SEC.
That is true.
Yeah, that's a great move. Let's talk about Jacksonville State getting a new coach, Rich Rod, as we call him. Big move for them, too.
Yeah, that was one that I thought was really interesting. I guess he finally was able to crack in and make his way to Alabama like he always wanted to. But it's one of those things with Rich Rod. He's one of those names that I think, like, wow, really? Rich Rod? I didn't even realize he was still a thing. But for them, for Jacksonville State, that is a phenomenal hire. We're talking about a guy who was coached at Michigan, who was coached at Arizona, and who is now here at Jacksonville State. So I think that's a fantastic move. I don't know if they could have made a better hire.
What's your take on Lincoln Riley? I know everybody's going from the school perspective, but when I look at a guy like Lincoln Riley, I would rather live in Southern California, I think, than Norman, Oklahoma, but I've not spent time in Norman, Oklahoma either.
It's windy.
Well, I was going to say, you could make the same statement about Auburn or Tuscaloosa, but both lovely towns, great jobs. What's the thought process for him when he's already got a great situation and coming into the SEC? I also think, though, maybe you can never be what you'd want to be in the SEC at an Oklahoma versus another traditional SEC school. What's your take, Matt?
I think that's exactly it. I think Lincoln Riley read the writing on the wall and realized that the success he's used to having at Oklahoma, that isn't going to happen for him the way that it did in the Big 12 here in the SEC, coming up against the schools he'll have to play. Recruiting won't be as easy. You go to the Pac-12, I actually believe he's a type of coach with the talent that he'll be able to have. And we've already seen some of the decommitments from OU, some of the commitments that he's getting at USC. He will immediately turn them into a contender. They may win the Pac-12 South next year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has a situation. If we remember back in 2013 when Gus Malzahn came to Auburn, he immediately took him to the national title game. Lincoln Riley will have the ability to turn that program around immediately. I thought that's the best hire that we can see. I don't know if you can hire a better. Just such a surprise for USC to make a splash like that. And now OU's got a big hole.
Good point.
Yeah. Matt, it's great having you on the show this morning. Let's talk again, okay?
Matt McClearin.
All right, I appreciate it, guys.
Noon to 2 on Jocks. Hey, you know, you got up early. You were kind to do that, but our favor to you is you now have 6 additional hours of show prep time. So, see? Silver lining.
I'll be extra prepared today, so make sure to listen noon to 2.
We'll listen to you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot.
All right.